Hey everyone, Paul Daniels back here again. Just got myself a iPhone 5 that is starting to delaminate on the screen, so it might be a battery issue. The iPhone 5s are particularly notorious for their batteries puffing up, pushing the screens out. But looking down the length of this, it could also just be a chassis bend. It's been bent, I can see it there. So I may have to put it in the very professional wood press to flatten it out. I'm just going to turn this off. Yep. And let's get into it and see what's going on. I usually get a couple of these iPhone 5s in sort of every month with a nicely puffed up battery. But it's obviously dropping off these days. Since they're pretty much all done, well, that screen's definitely busted. And I got my delivery of new spudges today, so these ones are actually extra sharp, fresh, new and fine. So I have to be a bit careful. Don't go overboard. Great. When the screen separates away like this, you can't keep pulling at it, it just won't work. So you've actually got to get in under the metal plate and try to lift it up. But at the same time, you don't want to do any damage. So just going to take it easy. So, come on, there we go. Like so many of these repairs, there's a fine difference between just enough force and way too much force. We've definitely got a battery issue here. You can see this, it's nicely puffed up. It hasn't gone too bad yet, but it definitely needs replacing. And it looks like I last worked on this, wow, that's quite a while ago, 15 months ago. It's been through a few knocks. Got a screw come off here, so we'll get this fixed up. It shouldn't be a problem. We'll definitely straighten out that chassis. This customer has been here a few times before with other things. It's always good to add these little things on top just to make them a bit happier. No charge on those. Right, they're off. What is interesting is the pull tab is missing on this. And that's not something I ever let happen when I put something back together, so I'd say someone else has been in here in the meantime. Right. So what a mess. Since we don't have a pull tab, that's always going to make it fun. What we're going to do is we're going to use the hot air gun on the back and get it nice and warm. We'll see if we can get it out of that. Actually, I'll try and do that now. Maybe something a bit grippier. Yeah, there we go. Oh. What is this? Yeah, it's interesting. That's from 2015, that battery. That should not have died. We're gonna get all this. We're gonna get all this old adhesive out. I found if the iPhone 5 batteries are not bonded down properly and they rattle around, it causes the phone to shut down, which is a little different, but oh well, it's just something I've noticed. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know whether it's the contacts shaking a bit loose, or there's or whether the impacting of the battery against the sensors on the circuit board cause it to think it's been dropped or something. I'm not sure. So surprisingly, the corners are actually all fine on this, so I'm not going to need to do that. I'm definitely going to need to just push that out slightly. Okay. That's what we use. Right. Didn't follow my own advice and didn't check where that screw came from. No, that's alright. It belongs down here at the bottom of the metal plate. That's all good. Alright, now the time to get the professional patented wood press. Oops. Sorry about those people who just lost their ears. Alright. Now this is something I'd like to replace with one of those proper iPhone bender units. But that's $100 I don't really have spare to spend right now, so we'll just have to keep using this. The trouble with this one is I made this before the iPhone 6 Pluses came out, and as such, it is a little narrow for them. Just there. Yeah, I know this seems strange, but it's actually quite an effective way of doing it. Using the spudger, it focuses the bending right down to where I want it, whereas using the aluminium plate tends to not be quite as effective. See why I don't want to lose this tool? If I lose that spudger, I'll cry. Fortunately, it should never leave this room. Come on. I do wish I had a faster way of doing these wing nuts. I know you can get quick ones, but oh well. Bending these back is really, it's more of a magic art than anything else. It's definitely something you just got to go by feel with. Because you've got to do a slight over bend and then bring it back. Thankfully I did a few years of metalwork at school because I didn't want to do accounting and I didn't want to do biology and I didn't want to do nothing. So metalwork it was, woodwork I did as well, and technical drawing of course. And all of those proved pretty useful to know. Okay, that's good. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty straight now. But yeah, getting to know the feel of these cases and the way the metal reacts, bends rather, is quite important. And otherwise you end up putting far more damage into the chassis than what you started with. Yeah, surprising what you can get out in terms of damage. I had an iPhone 6 Plus that had been jammed long ways between the door of a car and the chassis of the car, so it was kind of like putting a stick between it, and then it folded it. It bent it quite severely, and yet surprisingly we've managed to get that back together and working, and it didn't destroy the circuit board or anything, so that was a bit of a shocker. Impressive shocker. Alright, let's see. I need to get more iPhone 5 battery adhesives. One thing I found with this is it actually helps to heat up the frame before applying the sticker, because otherwise what I found is it doesn't bond as strongly, and that's when the battery starts coming off. But it doesn't have to be real hot, it's just enough to give that little bit of extra. Right. Rub it down. That's good. Oh, very good. It sent me a 2016 battery in my stock. I had a bad run recently where one of my suppliers just kept sending me stuff from 2012, and I was like, that's 4 years old, it's pretty much no good, I'm going to put that in, that's going to die within a couple of weeks. And in spite of me repeatedly telling them and sending back the old ones, they just keep sending them to me. So I have a suspicion they just like to send them off to whoever they can and hope that they don't come back so that they can flush their own stock out. It's pretty low and dirty if you ask me, but that's the nature of the spare parts market for iPhones, unfortunately. Right. Okay, hope that's good proper. Right, put that to the side, let's get on with the screen. Right, let's move that back in. Oh, that wasn't even attached. Okay. But always make sure you get this little spacer here. I mean, it's not imperative, but it's certainly better if you can keep it. I know a lot of people that throw those out without realizing. Oh, what the? Come on. There we go. What am I doing? Spudger to the rescue. Good. Get my adhesive. When you use a spudger or anything to get the camera thing off here, don't dig in too deep because you'll knock off the sensor that's on the other side. So if you dig in too aggressively, you'll knock this little thing off, and I mean, it's not a major pain, you just gotta get another flex, but that's just another thing to add to the list of annoyances of your day. So yeah, keep that in mind. Alright, this one's definitely for the bin. Yeah, I can take that with it too. Nice, fresh, new, high quality screen. Now there's a lot of different can't speak now, geez. There's a lot of different screen qualities available. Yeah, you can get some of these down as cheap as probably $29 Australian, which is probably 20 US. I really don't recommend those. There are you've got pink tone on them from being too old, or they've got spots in them, streaks, or there's always something wrong with them. It's definitely not the bargain that it seems to be. I paid quite a bit more for these ones. The upside is that I pretty much don't get any retains these at all, and most times everything fits and it's aligned right. Yeah, you're paying the extra money to make sure you don't have to stuff around and waste your time. And also some sense of, a small sense of security that the phone should not come back due to manufacturing fault. It may come back for some other issue, but hopefully it's not the screen that you bought. Okay, that's good. It's interesting, when I first did these iPhone 5 screens years ago, when I did my first one, I think it probably took me about 40 minutes or something like that to get it done. And every single time a new thing comes out, I am terrified when I'm working on it. What I really need to do is get myself a bunch of money, go out, buy myself my own new one, or someone's beaten up second-hand one very early, and pull it apart many times over until I get comfortable with it, so when it actually does come time for a customer's actual phone, I'm not actually putting their phone at risk. Right. Make sure we get the microphone in. What are you doing? Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You're just trying to be difficult today, aren't you? Yep, being difficult. Alright. This is where my lighting lets me down. Can't quite see clearly into this area, because what I'm trying to do is just pull out that that rubber boot, stretch it out a little bit so you try to tell yourself it'll be okay, it'll be okay, but you know if you don't get it to sit in properly, someone's most likely going to come on and say, oh, I can't hear properly what's going on in the phone conversation. The microphone seems, the earpiece seems quiet even when I turn it all the way up. And what's usually happened there is you've pushed down the earpiece onto the boot at the wrong, slightly off, and the lip of the boot has folded down in front of the earpiece outlet, so that's why we can't hear properly. On the other hand, you do occasionally get the occasional situation where the phone should be working perfectly fine, and you get a message back saying it's really quiet, I can't understand why, and you think, oh, I've stuffed it up. Then it comes back and you realise that they haven't peeled off the front plastic. That's always a fun one. There's nothing much you can do, you just got to say, oh yeah, it was just this, and walk away. We're done. We're done. Yeah, we're done. There's a nice thing about when you do these phones enough, you sort of finish them up subconsciously. Get that in there, that in, that, good, 3 good clips. This is always when you've got to make sure you hook it up under the little inner frame here. If you don't, that's just going to cause you more drama. Then make sure you don't cut the flex leads from the, there's a flex lead running up here. If you force this retainer plate in the wrong way, you've got a nick in it, and then something else won't work. Battery sitting in. Alright. Ah. Come on. Now this is the downside of the gloves. It can be a little bit tricky picking up some things. Alright. Alright. Okay, get the charge meter. Let's go on there. Alright. Turn it on. Let's see what we get. I haven't forgotten the bottom screws, I just don't want to put them in just yet. Okay, I'm going to pick this up before it goes into the customer screen so you can't see it. So I'm charging about, what have we got there, 800, so I'm expecting about 50% charge on the battery. Buzz. And we're at 56%, so it wasn't too far off. Okay. Alright. Touch is working good. Okay. Now I'll check the cameras. Main camera is good. Face camera is good. Now check the microphone. That's always fun trying to find where everyone's hidden everything on their phones. Where are you, voice recorder? Ah. Testing, yes, it's working. Done. Delete. Delete. Okay, it's all good. So, well, I suppose I better check the actually connects to the network. I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, it's got the time right. No sim. And we're good. It's coming up. Let that charge. And that's it. Oh, suppose I better put the bottom screws in. Ah, great, I've just taken my gloves off. Let's put these bottom screws in. You really do feel naked after taking your gloves off and handling equipment. What's going on there? Alright. All good. That's going to go back to the customer. Everything be good. Alright. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.